Part 1. There's nothing to fear except the maniac who keeps telling you there's nothing to fear. How to construct a chosen one. It is essential, first off, that your chosen one be pure of heart, or, to put it more directly, naive as all hell. After all, there's this prophecy, or the word of some hypothetical authority figure, telling her to go off, fight impossible odds, and, if one is at all realistic about this, probably die. It takes more than idealism or a sense of duty to make a person do something like that. It also takes someone who's willing to believe in a mission, both preposterous and life-threatening. It takes someone easily led or misled by rather dubious sources. From watching the wizard's methods, I'll note that it tends to help if you find a subject who is unreasonably optimistic about the potential for good in the world, or someone terribly credulous. True, long term, you'll have trouble with the easily led. Presumably at some point, the kid will have to show enough self-direction to get past puzzles or mazes or simply challenges which test one's mettle to the breaking point. If you ain't got the mettle, then you'll break. Ka-snap. And then again, there are a lot of potential candidates for chosen one. And anyone who can do enough math to do magic knows your essential brute force algorithm. Just keep throwing resources at the problem and eventually you'll exhaust the possibilities and find an answer. So if you lose 1 or 2 or 10 chosen ones, sure, a few rumors might circulate back, and people might begin being reluctant to join you. But that's okay. You have good on your side, and that means you get to keep on choosing. His method's quite simple, really. Just walk up to a house and pick somebody. Who's going to question the living embodiment of benevolence and all things bright and sunlit? Only bad people do that, and you don't want to be a bad person, right? Nor do you want your friends, neighbors, associates, rulers, and assorted strangers to hear you've been branded as not good by an authority on good. You don't want that, do you? After all you gotta do is go along. It is a noble cause. Why wouldn't you help a noble cause? You're not for the Dark Lord, are you? You're not on the side of the Dark Lord, are you? And you're surely not the Dark Lord in disguise, right? Because if you were, we'd have to take appropriate action. Your house is a bit gloomy, and didn't a neighbor hear you mention some time back by the village well that you thought life under a Dark Lord might be an improvement? That's not what you said. It sounded like that. That's how your neighbor remembers it. In fact, now that your neighbor has brought it up, it appears that several of your neighbors were at the well. They all remember hearing you say that, and lots more. Seems like everybody's got a story. The well was crowded that day. They're all in the pub now, buying each other drinks. It's amazing how vivid their memories are. Hey, the bartender just remembered being there too. They're all such good people. Pretty brave of them to stand up and speak in the face of all the dark powers you might have. But you're probably not past redemption. Not yet. So what about your love of the Dark Lord? You'd like to fix that, wouldn't you? All we need is the kid. And don't worry, the kid will be just fine. We'll learn it real good. Time passes. People die. But that stuff doesn't happen too often. It doesn't have to. There are a lot of targets, and it's easy to pick a ripe one. Hell, you need look no further than the average family life in this realm. You might ask, what kind of parents would permit an offspring to head off blithely towards likely doom? Bad parents, for one. Neglectful, abusive, or just plain uncaring people are a great start. If your chosen one has some of these, she'll go running towards an alternative, especially if you throw in some kind of father figure, some kindly, benevolent, spell-casting dispenser of life-affirming quotes and life-destroying missions. Give someone a sufficiently broken domestic upbringing, and you've got lots of options for eager urchins. Why are so many chosen ones unpopular in their societies and neighborhoods? It's because, in its secret mechanisms, the universe actually works in such a way that kids who are bullied and put upon turn out to have the most golden destinies imaginable. Nah, I'm just messing with you. That's ridiculous. And no sensible being would believe that for a moment. The real reason the White Wizard loves to pick students who aren't accepted by those around them? Well, for starters, if you want to ensure yourself some prime, dedicated to the earth, unquestioning, I will do the craziest damn thing for reasons that don't make sense but which you say are essential, chosen meat, start off with someone who's disdained, ill-treated, or even actively attacked for who and what they are. Tell them there's a whole other world, one where they're special. Tell them it's their destiny. Tell them it's what they deserve. O gods, we give thanks unto thee for the bounty with which thou hast provided us. And also the hobbit weed. Remember, you're not lying exactly. You're just leaving out a few key details, like right now you're special because you've got a pulse and you're willing to come along, but survive more than 2 weeks and you'll be something quite unusual, a statistical anomaly. Other factors? There are a few. Absent parents are good. Pro tip, orphans. They're often scared, vulnerable, and lonely. They're ready for brainwashing. Oh, sorry, I forget. When the heroes do it, it's called training. And of course, there are also just plain foolish parents. Maybe they're royalty, who confuse primogeniture with destiny. Maybe they'll believe anyone who tells them that they represent good, and it's time to defeat evil. Oversimplified maniacism is terribly persuasive. It's simply so much more fun to believe that you must be right, and someone else must be wrong, deeply, cosmically wrong. There's not a lot in this world as motivational as firm belief in an unbending, universal morality, which just happens to place you on the side of the angels. Actually, regardless of your lineage, your chosen one is likely to need the kind of simplistic worldview to be really receptive to your wise and kindly wizard. And that's where traditional narratives fall. The White Wizard would have you believe that the fall of the Dark Lord is destiny. But if he really felt that way, he wouldn't look so damn worried all the time. Dark Lords shatter destiny. It's what we do. The rise of darkness is not inevitable, and neither is the rise of the light. We may enjoy our metaphors of night and day, but those are really just natural phenomena, literally the product of objects and forces larger than the planet upon which we stand, and not the mystical embodiments of good and bad. We're not inherently dwellers on illumination or shadow. We're sentients, which means we choose. And not only am I part of anyone's damned destiny, nobody predicted my rise. Not even me, really. I didn't know this was where I'd end up, and if you tried to tell me that the hurt, the pain, the personal choices, and the perseverance were all just part of someone else's plan, I'll laugh until I can barely breathe. When I started out, all I knew was that I was not going to stay where I'd been. I was going to change. I was going to make my part of the world into something that I wanted, not wait, hope, or beg for the world to start to want me. That's why the wizard looks so grim. It's why so many have failed. It's why this will never be a simple task. Because I didn't get to this place from some cakewalk down a preordained path, which said, "And today will be born one of great power." I had to find the damn power, harness it, and, not yet, die in the process. I have tremendous strength, but it's not really in the magic or the realm I've built around me to get here. And what I've shaped myself into becoming, I am a product of the flames which have burned me, the anvil which forged me, and the will that made me grow formidable instead of breaking. All these things mean that destiny can go climb a rope. To defeat a Dark Lord, you can't just have a pretty astrological chart. You must have exceptional puissance. And an unexamined worldview is a deep and abiding weakness. It's an underdevelopment of critical thinking skills. It lets you skate right past moral ambiguity, which is helpful until suddenly becomes a detriment. The person who has never wrestled with why has misused a crucial battle. It is possible without having endured and survived that fight. You're not prepared to handle the bitter path that leads to my door. Poor chosen one. The person who has never considered non serviam may have a fatal weakness in the legs. Train yourself to kneel instead of think, and you will not enjoy an opponent who knows how to stand.